coming down into your body and your breath. We'll just take a few moments to slow down and connect here at the beginning of our practice. So this is a calm class. We typically do some standing up flows. We do some hatha poses, and we do some restorative poses. So we usually start nice and slow and end nice and slow. So take some time now just to connect, closing your eyes if you'd like, or just simply softening your gaze. And as you do that, just check in with all of those facial muscles. So as you soften your gaze or close the eyes, check in with those tiny muscles around and behind the eyes. And just release there. Release any expression in the cheeks and the jaw, softening. Just letting everything go slack, smoothing the forehead. And then if you can imagine that softness just passing down through the body. So bringing that focus inward, let your connection with the surface below you help you to feel grounded and supported, safe, held. And slowly draw your awareness from your outer experience to your inner world. If you want, you can make some tight fists as you breathe in with your hands gripping, clenching tightly. As you take that deep breath in, hold for a moment. Then exhale as slowly as you can, just release that grip. Let go throughout your entire body, enjoying that ease, connecting with this relaxed state here at the beginning of our practice. Enjoy this ease and connect with that state of relaxation. There are a lot of things in life that we don't have control over, but our breath is one that we do have control over. We're just going to come into a bit of a counting breath here, deepening the inhales, lengthening the exhales by a couple of counts longer. So just begin here by exhaling all of the air from your lungs. And then inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slight pause again. Breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brief pause. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Release 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you want to continue with that count or your own count, just carry on for a couple more rounds. Just finding that balance there. That balance of receiving and letting go. That balance of your inhalation, your exhalation. Whenever you're ready, you can just allow your breath to return to wherever it would like to be in its natural state. Just let it find its natural rhythm. And once you've done that, check in with the body. Just scan the body for any areas where you might be still holding, anywhere where you can benefit from a little bit more softening or release. And just breathe into those areas. Let go. Open that flow of energy. The breath can be a really powerful tool. Listen to your heart here. See if you can sense the beating of your heart's rhythm. Listen to your breath. So allow any thoughts to go, to pass on by. You might notice that you're thinking, and without being judgmental about it, just say, okay, time for that later. Right now, I'm just going to let those float on by, just like clouds in the sky. Being fully present here for this next 55 minutes or so. The benefit of beginning our practice with a little meditation and breath work. Just nice for our inner world to help connect with ourselves, but also we can benefit by showing up more for those loved ones around us, our friends, our family, our neighbors, people we interact with daily, our communities. Take a deep breath in. And as you release it, just release peace into the universe. Know that others are doing the same for you. So you're receiving that as well. And just as we're lying down here, we'll begin to slowly move. Have a block or bolster, a cushion, or a rolled up blanket close by. We're going to start by just drawing the pelvis up and down slowly. So just a slight tilt of the pelvis, and you can align this movement with your breathing. So kind of press that low spine into the mat as you exhale, and then release and breathe in with your inhale. I find it helpful to have the knees bent here and feet grounded. A couple more times like this. Awakening your abdominal muscles. And just a nice little massage for the low spine and the sacrum at the same time. The next time you press up, press into the feet, lift the hips. You don't have to come up into the highest bridge, but you can come maybe to a mid-level bridge or whatever feels good for you. Press the hands and the length of the arms into the mat, helping you here, grounding the backs of the arms, across the shoulder blades, grounding the feet. Press a little bit more into your inner heels rather than your outer heels. So your inner thighs and your knees are drawn together here, a little active in the pose. Couple more breaths. You're going to reach out and find that block or rolled up blanket or bolster or cushion. Just place it underneath your low back, your sacrum. So just find that sweet spot that feels good, no pinching, no discomfort in the low back. And settle in here for a few breaths. Now, if you're using a block like I am, you can have it on its lowest height or mid height. You might want to take it up to the highest height. That's not always the most comfortable for me. I'm just going to keep it at mid height. And then options here are just to keep the knees bent, soles of the feet grounded, or take the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to fall open, coming into reclined butterfly with a lift under the hips. Take the hands wherever you like. I like to have my palms up, either down at my sides, or you can make that goalpost position with your arms. A little bit more opening through the chest that way. And if you want a little more, you can take the arms even farther overhead. Tilt the chin towards the chest. And we're just going to take some full breaths here. And I'll be quiet so you can just go inward. You might even connect with an intention for your practice. Just a thought to any anything you want to cultivate more of in your life. Maybe it's a particular emotion you want to experience more in your life, or a way that you would like to show up in the world. So anything that you want to bring forward to carry with you through your practice and beyond. You can call it an intention, or it could be a mantra, or just a statement or a word. Two more nice full breaths here. And then if the feet aren't grounded, just take the knees up and ground the feet. Press the feet into the mat as you lift the hips, just enough to slide your prop out from underneath you. Let the hips come back to the earth, and we'll draw the knees in toward the chest. Take them wide as if you're coming into happy baby, but we're just going to keep the shins parallel to the mat. So right hand to right knee, left hand to left knee, maybe a little rock side to side as you draw the knees wide as well as down toward the earth. And then from here, let's bring the knees together. You might want to bump your hips a little bit to the left. So bring your feet to the earth and then, bump your hips a little to the right. We're going to take a twist to the left and then just soften the knees over to the left. We're stacking the hips here, trying to keep the chest open by grounding both of the shoulder blades. And you can look over your right arm. Left hand might come to that outer right knee, drawing that right knee and right shoulder blade away from each other. Another nice deep breath here, and then we're going to do a little movement with the arms while keeping the knees stacked. So I'll take a big breath in. And with the exhale, take the right fingers and just trace them across the collarbones until you reach out long. Stack your palms one on top of the other. Stack your shoulders one on top of the other. So you're just lying on your side here. On your next inhale, trace a semicircle with your right fingers overhead and just come back to that open twist. And then with your exhale, trace that line with your fingertips across your collarbones, down the length of your left arm till the palms come to meet. Reach a little longer with those right fingertips and then circle that right arm overhead. Back to that open heart. And then trace that line, fingertips across the collarbones, down the left arm, palms come to meet. Let's reverse that now. Inhaling to open by drag those fingertips down the length of your arm, cross your collarbones and open wide. And then exhale, trace that semicircle with your right fingertips over your head. Bring palm back to palm. And let's try that 2 more times. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to trace that semicircle above you. Hands meet. Last time. Inhaling to open. Exhale. Trace the fingers overhead, palms to meet. Let's just roll back, find a neutral spine. So just come back onto your spine, knees bent, bring the hips beneath the shoulders. And then you might bump your hips a little bit to the left here. Bring your knees in, and as the knees are stacked, we're just going to allow them to fall to the right, finding your twist here with the hips stacked. And then opening left arm out to the side, trying to find that length between your left knee and your left shoulder blade here. Gazing to the left. Breathe deeply. Another full breath in and out. And we'll start that shoulder flossing. So take your left fingertips, trace them by that left shoulder across your collarbones out to meet that right arm outstretched from your shoulder, palms meet. And take a big semicircle, reach overhead, opening wide to your twist again. And let's repeat that a couple more times. Reaching over, palm meets palm, shoulders stacked, and then open, tracing that semicircle with your left fingertips. Wide, and then one more time in this direction. And we'll meet back on our sides, palms and arms stacked, knees stacked. And we'll go in the opposite direction, taking a big breath in, tracing those left fingertips up the inner right arm, across the shoulder, collarbones opening wide. And then trace that semicircle overhead with the left fingers. Palm meets palm. 2 more times. Last time. And then when you've completed your last one, just roll back onto your spine, center the hips beneath the shoulders. Let's take a full body stretch. Reach the legs long, reach the arms overhead. Big breath in, reach, lengthen, stretch, maybe make fists again. And then release and soften. We're going to bend the knees, bring them above the hips, and bring the shins to parallel the mat. Let's take the hands down, palms down at our sides, and then I like to just rock the hips up a little bit so I can walk my hands underneath the hips a little bit. Just gives me a little bit more low back support. We're going to do a little bit of gentle abdominal work. So let's tap the right toes down. Keep them there. Tap the left toes down. Then draw the right toes up, and then draw the left toes up. So right toes tap down, left toes meet, right knee comes back up, and left knee comes back up. We're just going to repeat a few more times with the right toes leading. Just like that, pressing the low spine into the mat, and then we'll keep the knees right above the hips. We're not going to bring them back any closer to the torso. That way we keep that contraction of the abdominals. Let's do one more on this side, or one more with the right toes leading. And then we'll meet right back here with the knees above the hips, shins parallel to the mat. And we're ready now for the left toes to lead. So left toes tap down, right toes follow and meet. Left knee rises back up, bring it to above the hip, and right knee meets. So left toes, right toes, left knee rises, right knee rises. Check in with your low back. Press the low spine down. Two more times on this side. Coming into our last one. You can bring the knees into the chest. You can keep the knees together and wrap your arms around the shins this time if you want, rocking side to side, or you can take them wider as we did in that modified happy baby. And find a little rock if it feels good. From here, we're going to come up to a seat. So you can rock along the spine lengthwise a few times if it feels nice. Making your way up to a seat, or you can roll over one side and press your way up. From your seated posture, we're going to get into the neck a little bit here. So let's start by grounding down through the sit bones. You might take a folded blanket, place it underneath the hips if you like, or a cushion, a bolster, or a block. Once you're settled, we'll take a big breath in, reach high with the arms, breathe in. Exhale the palms to the heart. Inhale, open the arms to cactus, that goalpost position. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And then with the release of your breath, release your hands to your low back. Interlace the fingers. Draw a deep breath in, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then as you release, we're just going to take those fists over to the right hip. So hands still, fingers still interlaced. And then draw your right ear down towards your right shoulder. If it feels too intense, just release that bind and the hands, let them rest on your lap. So you might feel this right from your left shoulder to your left jaw, side of the neck. Release the hands, bring the gaze back to neutral. We'll do that arm flow again and just take the fist to the other hip. Breathe in, reach high. Exhale, palms come to the heart. Inhale, cactus the arms, squeeze there between the shoulder blades. Exhale, release the hands and clasp them behind your low back. Inhale, open. And then exhale, the fists come over to that left hip and left ear just kind of melts down towards the left shoulder. It might feel similar to the other side, it might feel different. We want to avoid any pinching or discomfort, so if it's too intense, just release the hands. And let's release the hands, bring the gaze back to neutral, and then just tilt the chin towards the chest. From here, you might want to take some semicircle rolls of the neck, full circle rolls if that's part of your practice and it feels okay. Or look right and left over the shoulders, or look up and down. Just take this opportunity for just to listen to intuitively to what your body would like. It can be in free movement. Whenever it feels like you've had enough, you just slowly make your way back to a neutral gaze. I'm going to reach the right arm up, take a breath in. And then bend the right elbow, take your palm just behind just sort of to the nape of the neck. You can do one of a couple things here. You can take your left hand to your right elbow and press a little bit, opening that way. If you want to, you can try cow-faced arms. You're going to take your left hand behind you, bend the elbow, and reach up with your left fingertips. Maybe they meet. You can also use a strap for this, holding strap between your right and left hands and opening that way. So either option is good. Close your eyes here. Take a couple of deep breaths. And just release slowly. Shake it out if you like. Take a couple of shoulder rolls in reverse and then forward. And then on your next inhale, reach that left arm up. Same thing here, bend the elbow, drop the palm towards the nape of the neck, and then you can take your right hand, apply a little bit of pressure there. just above the elbow, or you can reach that right hand up, maybe making a connection with the fingers. Quite often one side is different to the other, so you might be able to touch your fingers on one side and not on the other. Another full inhale, full exhale here. And just softly release. Let's make our way to all fours to our tabletop position. So just centering here, hips above the knees, shoulders above the wrists. When you've got that, you might just take some free movement, suggesting a variation on cat-cow here, but you can move in any way that you like. Just find some gentle spinal movement, and we'll try to link the movement with the breath. So if you're doing traditional cat-cow, might feel nice to take a big breath in as you drop the belly and gaze up. And then an exhale as you round the spine and come into that angry cat position. But you can take any variation here of gentle spinal movements. So you might push the hips from side to side, rounding and then arching. You might come forward and back. We've got a few more rounds of breath here. If you are working in circular motion, you just change directions. Let's come back to a neutral spine. And we'll find a little flow here from tabletop to child's. So we're going to round our spine, exhale as we lean back, bringing the hips toward the heels. Inhale as you come forward, dip the belly, gaze up. So exhale, rounding the spine as you send the hips back toward the heels, come to child's. And then inhaling as you come forward. Now just move with your own breath. Try a few more rounds like that. Last one here. And then we're going to meet in a kneeling position. Just come back. If a low kneel isn't really comfortable, you can always grab a bolster or cushion, place it between the thighs and the calves, just above the heels there, or you can stay in a higher kneel. You won't be here for too long. And when you're settled there, we'll take a big breath in, reach high with the arms. Exhale, palms to the heart. We'll take that open to cactus. Breathe in. Exhale, release the hands. Again, interlace fingers behind the low back. Take a breath in, open. And exhale, just fold forward. Bring your forehead to a block or a cushion or the mat. Hands might rest on your low back. If you want a little more opening through the shoulders, press the palms together and raise the fists toward the sky or anywhere there on any angle is fine. And let's release, walk the hands forward. Child's pose. Let's take the hands over to the left. So maybe even just off of the mat a little bit. Keep the hips grounded though, there towards the heels, or if you're sitting on your cushion, try not to come up off of the heels. Reach a little bit farther with those right fingertips. So the finger pads might grip the earth a little bit and pull. Find a nice side stretch on the right side body as you lean to the left. And slowly walk the hands back, past the center, over to the right. And same thing here, just check in with that left hip, that it's still grounded on your left heel or on your cushion or whatever. Reach your left fingertips a little bit farther than your right one, so you're finding a nice side body stretch along the left. One more breath there. And then we'll come back. Let's find our tabletop pose. From tabletop, we're going to tuck the toes and glide the hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. You can make it as gentle as you like. This is your practice, your time on your mat, the end of your weekend. Just gear the practice to what your body is craving. So you want a really gentle downward dog, just keep a nice bend in the knees. Take it really slowly, maybe pedal, pressing alternately the heels back. A little bit more movement here, and then we'll hold. So let's come to stillness here. Let's find a nice stance, feet about hip distance. Press into your finger pads, the heels of your hands. Lift the tailbone as you press the heels back. So just a gentle tilt of the tailbone can sometimes increase sensation there in your hamstrings. Find some nice length in your spine. Head is heavy. Lengthening in those hamstrings. So raise the right leg up. Come to a three-legged dog here. And then bend the right knee and take some big circles with your knee. So getting into that right hip. Lead with the knee, going forward, maybe about 2 or 3 times. And then change directions of those hip circles. And then bring the right foot to meet the left. Left side's turned now, so left leg's gonna rise up. Three-legged dog, take that bend in the knee. Draw some circles starting forward, just drawing circles with that left knee, getting into the left hip. And then reversing the direction of the circles. And we'll draw the left foot to meet the right. From here, we're going to step the feet forward, just some tiny little steps, walking your way to the top of your mat. And then just find a forward fold, ragdoll pose here. Comfortable stance with the feet, might be hip distance. You can sway if you want to, you can just hang out. Or you can walk the fingers off the mat to the right, and then over to the left. Explore with some movement. Keeping any amount of bend in the knees, any amount of bend in the knees is fine here. We definitely don't need to force the legs to be straight here. So this is as much about lengthening, releasing through the spine as it is about opening those hips and hamstrings. Let's find stillness. Let's come to a halfway lift. So create some length in your spine, gaze forward, press the palms into the shins. And then release, bow forward. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, soften and release. Take the left hand and just place it between or just above the two big toes, center of your mat. Bend into your left knee, and we'll twist to the right here. Reaching the right arm up. Take your gaze maybe to your side wall or maybe up towards your hand. And release your right hand down, replace it where your left hand was. We're going to bend into the right knee this time, twist to the left. Reach the left hand high, take your gaze wherever's comfortable for your neck. Get a little bit deeper stretch in the leg that's not bending here. So the left leg in this case. And return your hand to the mat. Halfway lengthen, create space there in the spine. Breathe in, folding to breathe out. And then as you take your next breath in, unwind the spine, just come up to stand. Slowly, slowly unwind. Bring the arms overhead, tall mountain. As you exhale, twist to the right, left hand forward, right hand back. We're going to keep our gaze is going to come to the right, but we're going to keep the hips facing forward. Core is activated here. Nice twist for the upper and mid back. Next inhale, arms rise, face forward. Exhale, twist to the other side. Right hand reaches forward, left hand back. So the core is turned on here and working. Arms are reaching forward and back. Breathe in, reach both arms high, face forward. Exhale, palms to the heart. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, fold forward. Keep the spine nice and long. Rise to a halfway lift. Lengthen as you breathe in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Bring the palms to the earth. We're going to step back here to plank pose. Either plank from the knees or plank from the toes. Both are great options. We'll take a breath in. And then from wherever you are, just slowly bend the elbows and lower all the way down. So soften the pelvis, the belly, the chest, the thighs, all the way down to the mat. And let's flow here. Let's take about 3 rolling cobras. We'll take our elbows high and our fingers tented beneath our elbows. So we're going to roll up with an inhale. And then roll down with an exhale. Let's try that 2 or 3 more times. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to lower, really using the strength of your low back here. And we'll do that one more time. Rise up. This time hold. Reach up through your crown. And then softly lower down. Let's press back briefly to a child's pose. Maybe take the knees a little wider this time than we did in our previous child's pose. We get our knees closer together. 2 breaths. We'll return to tabletop, tuck the toes, come back to downward facing dog. 1 breath here. And we'll look forward. You can take some small steps, or a couple big steps, or 1 big step forward, top of the mat. Breathe in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, rise to stand. Bringing the arms overhead. Gaze up to the palms and then exhale, bring the palms to the heart. Inhale, let's reach high again. And on the exhale, dive forward, keep the spine long. Halfway lengthen, breathe in. As you breathe out, place the palms to the earth, step the right foot back here, come to a low lunge. We'll ground with the right knee, tuck the toes, just hold here. If you have blocks and you'd like to use them, you can bring one underneath each hand. We just want to press the hips forward a little bit here so you're feeling an opening in your left hip flexor. And keep the spine long at the same time. So if you have blocks, you might even come up to the highest height on those blocks. If you don't, you might be on your fingertips. You can move a little bit here, shift, see what feels good. Some mobility in the hip flexor. We'll just set the props off to the side, tuck the right toes. We're going to step the right foot forward to meet the left. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold, plant the palms this time. Step back with the left foot. Settle that left knee to the earth, untuck the toes. We'll find our low lunge on this side. Settling in, maybe closing the eyes. Nice deep lunge. Or just as deep as you need it to be. So you just want to go for that balance. A balance between strength and steadiness and softness and gentleness so that you're feeling sensation but you can breathe easily. Another breath here in our low lunge. And we'll bring the hands to frame that right foot. Tuck the left toes, step forward once more. Find that halfway lift and lengthen as you breathe in. Forward fold. Breathe out. Let's step back to our plank, either from the knees or from the toes. A breath in here. Let's softly lower all the way down. Press up to a back bend. So that might be a gentle cobra or a mid-height cobra or sphinx pose. Take 2 breaths in your back bend. And then softly lower down, tuck the toes. We're going to come back to our downward facing dog. You can come via tabletop or tall plank and lift the hips high. Downward dog. We're going to prepare for pigeon pose. If you know pigeon pose from here is not your favorite and you'd rather, you could come onto your spine and come into a figure 4. So we're going to start with the right leg. If you're on your spine, you're going to cross your right ankle over your left knee and then draw the knees towards you. If you're with me here, we're going to raise the right leg up with an inhale. And then exhale, draw the right knee towards the right wrist. Set the shin across your mat. Just on whatever angle works for you. Take a moment, send that left leg long behind you. And then find some length in the spine. You might want to prop like a bolster or block underneath your right hip to keep the hips level. If you're ready and you want to come forward, you can just wave maybe a couple times, exhaling to lower, inhaling to rise, exhaling, and then whenever you're ready, holding in a place that's comfortable for you, where you can soften and release for about 8 breaths or so. And let's just remind ourselves to soften in the shoulders and the jaw. And with your deep breaths, you can send release to the area where you need to soften and settle and let go. Take time for another full breath in and out here. And then when you're ready, you just want to gently press your way up, palms beneath the shoulders. And then tuck your left toes, send your right leg back. Find any movement that feels good in that right leg, ankle, knee, hip, all those joints. If you're on your back and taking reclined pigeon, just take maybe a windshield wiper motion with the knees side to side. And then we'll prepare for the other side. So on the left side, the left leg's gonna rise if you're in this position. Inhaling and then exhaling to draw the knee forward towards the left wrist. If you're on your spine, left ankle crosses over right knee. Knees can be drawn towards you. So take a moment to set up here. This part's important to reach that right leg back, level the hips. And then maybe take a couple waves, exhaling to lower and inhaling to rise up. And then settling wherever you're comfortable. Breathing deeply. Resting the forehead, maybe on two stacked fists or on the backs of your hands or on a pillow. Take time for a couple more full breaths. And then as you're ready to release, this time press into the palms beneath the shoulders, but roll over on your left hip. And we'll swing the right leg around. Just take a moment to find some movement there in the right hip and knee, or the left side this time, knee, ankle, hip joint. Little movement. And let's we'll bend that left knee. So draw the left sole of the foot to the inner right thigh. And prepare to take a forward fold here. Just walk the hands forward. Any amount's fine. Draping over that right leg. You can keep the spine long if you like, being a little more active, maybe pulling on the foot or the ankle, Or you can be a bit more passive, take hands beside your leg, palms up and around your spine, and just drape the head. And you might find you feel this in your hamstring, you might find you feel it more in the low back. You might feel it in both places. And just try to avoid any discomfort, ease off if it feels like it's pinching in any area, pulling too much. Just release nice and slowly. There's no rush to come out. Just walk the hands back, rising up. We're going to do that on the other side. So left leg will come out long. Right sole of the foot's going to come to the inner left thigh. Get nice and tall first here, and then face that thigh. Face your left thigh, and then walk the hands out. Again, just slowly release when you're ready. Walking the hands back up. We're going to bend both of the knees. Grab your block or your bolster or your rolled up blanket again. Just have it within arm's reach. We're going to lower down onto our spines. So just slowly, slowly engaging your core as you descend. Coming all the way back down to lying down. Let's bend the knees, press the feet into the mat and lift the hips once more. Place the block on its lowest height underneath your sacrum again. Or your bolster or your rolled up blanket, just getting a little bit of height there. And then we're going to bend the right knee, then bend the left knee, lifting the feet from the earth, and then extend the legs up. So soles of the feet as if they're coming up to the sky. And then you might just want to shift a little bit so it feels good with the legs up. Find a comfortable place for your arms to rest. Maybe as we opened in supported bridge, you might bring your arms to a cactus position or reach them overhead a little bit, palms up, maybe resting at your sides, arms long, palms up. Viparita, legs up with a little bit of an extra lift there under the hips. If this isn't comfortable, please just remove your prop and take your hips to ground to the earth and just lift your legs. And if you happen to be near a wall, you can place your legs up the wall for a little bit of support. We're going to remain like this for about 8 breaths or so. Another couple of full inhales and exhales. Just bend the knees, bring the feet to ground. Press into the feet, slightly lift the hips and remove your block. But by all means, if you're happy, you can stay. If you're really comfortable and you want to take your Shavasana, legs up or with the block underneath the sacrum in a supported bridge, you could do that. If there's any last posture you'd like before Shavasana, go ahead and come into that now. Maybe it's a modified happy baby or a full happy baby. Taking the feet above the knees wide, hands to the ankles or bottoms of the feet, or even backs of the thighs. Maybe finding a little rock as you draw the knees wide and down towards the earth. Or any other posture that feels good, or just come right into your Shavasana. Whenever you're ready to start settling into your final resting posture, you can do that, grabbing props or extra bits of clothing or adjusting lighting or anything that's going to make you feel comfortable, completely at ease, relaxed and supported. So closing down the eyes, if that's comfortable. Letting the breath be natural. Finishing as we began with really a lot of softness, complete softness and release of all of the muscles in the body, beginning with those facial muscles. So no need to have any facial expression held. No need to hold any particular posture, no need for any muscular control at all in this posture throughout the body. So wherever you find yourself, maybe it feels natural and the legs slightly open and outward and feet fall outward. Maybe the palms are resting, palms up toward the sky. Maybe you want to connect one palm to the heart, one palm to the low belly. Maybe soles of the feet are drawn together and they're in reclined cobbler's pose, whatever works for you. Just taking this time, allowing yourself at this point in your practice to welcome that complete relaxation of the body. It's important to give the body a few minutes to relax and give your mind and your body the opportunity to settle, find that peace, that space, giving yourself the opportunity here just to rest and be. you happen to feel that you have the time and space tonight, you want to linger a little bit longer in your Shavasana, please do that. Otherwise, you can gently begin to reawaken, taking the tiniest of movements, maybe even just swallowing once or twice or rolling the eyes there behind the closed lids. Gently rocking the head side to side, allowing that to grow. Allowing the fingers and toes to move. Allowing that to grow. You can take a big stretch, reaching your arms and legs in opposite directions. Any movement that feels good here, that's drawing a little bit of energy back into the body. If you like to close your practice in a seated posture, you could take time for a breath or two on your side and then press your way up. And then if you're with me seated or lying down, we'll take a big breath here together. Reach the arms high, breathe in. Draw palm to palm and then just soften the palms to the heart. Take a moment here. Just feel that energy between your two hands. Maybe as you press your thumbs against your sternum, you can feel the energy beating within your own heart. And thank yourself for cultivating that energy today, for moving and breathing, for listening to your body, just for becoming more in tune and in touch with your body, your mind, your awareness. You might recall your intention now if you set one at the beginning of practice, or just bring any uplifting, inspirational, gracious, positive thought to your mind. Thank you all so much for being here to share practice this evening. It was my pleasure practicing with you, and I hope that you have a good evening, great sleep, and a good start to your week. Much peace. Namaste.